Sup YouTube, it's TCG here and welcome back to our TCG video on my channel. On this channel you get a ton of Pokemon TCG content, so be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. We are halfway through the season and we're having a lot of more adventures planned. And if you like what you see at any given point in the video, be sure to let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. It only requires 1 tiny second of your time and helps out the channel tremendously. So today we're talking about Banette. Yes, that's right. Banette has always been a very spooky card in the TCG as it's gonna spook the opponent out. And in this video we're going to be talking about the controversial topic: is Banette healthy for the game with the current card pool we have and with rotation in mind? We know that we're getting a new set, Journey Together, at the end of March, and that's actually going to be legal in April, and we're going to be able to of course play with trainer owner cards like, for example, Lily's Confe, for example, and Zoroark. There's like all these trainers, Pokemon Hops, Zacian, EX, all those cool cards, new archetypes coming into the game, which is something I really like. So I'm very big fan of huge new sets like these, and now we have gained access to Banette. Banette is one of those cards, at first glance it doesn't seem all that powerful until you take a little bit closer at what we have access in the format. This attack just states: Cursed Speech. Your opponent shuffles 3 cards from their hand into their deck. You might think, oh, you're not discarding any cards, you're not discarding any energies, you're not one-shotting anything, you're not KOing anything, you're not devolving anything, you're not taking prizes. Is this even good? And then you take a look at what else we have lurking around in the format. Xerosic. This card, your opponent discards cards from their hand until they have 3 cards in their hand. So pretty much this card alone, the combination with Banette and Xerosic, will make it really easy to turn your opponent's entire hand into 0 cards. That's kind of crazy, because with this combo, the opponent will be in full-on top deck mode. So if they're not having Pidgeot EX established, if they're not having any card that could draw established, they're going to be completely in top deck mode. This is going to be really dangerous for the game, because this is going to be happening as soon as turn 2. If you're having a deck that has like Pokegears in it and a lot of Xerosic and all that stuff, you're going to be able to easily get this Banette combo off. It also does not help that Banette EX also item locks the opponent, so there's that. And if you want to go even further, there are ways to find a supporter even with the Call Bell if you want to on the very first turn going second. So that's also something you could try to already mill the opponent to 3 cards, and then they just draw 1 card, they probably play a card, and then you just mill their actually make sure the opponent has no cards left in their hand. That's pretty much what it is. So Banette, very strong in control decks. I know control decks do lose a lot of cards. We did talk about this before. Stuff like Silene, stuff like the Team Yell's Cheer, stuff like Pidgeot V, which allows you to infinitely loop and all that. All those cards go away. So it's going to be mainly here just to put the opponent instantly into a 0 card hand as soon as the second turn. So you play Xerosic, you use Banette, and out of nowhere they're in full on top deck mode. So that's gonna be really scary. I don't know if it's gonna be very good. Is it gonna be breaking this format? I don't know. There's always the Bidoof as well. The Bidoof can item lock while you wait for this turn. So first of all, you Bidoof, the opponent's not able to play Buddy Puff and not able to play like rare candies and all that. Following turn, you slap down Xerosic, you attack with Banette, and they're in top deck mode. So that seems very toxic in general. So also, I want to be making this video because rotation is also happening. As soon as this set will be legal for tournament play, there's also going to be a rotation. And let's talk about some cards here that will actually rotate along with yeah, I'm gonna talk about draw cards mainly, or cards that can get you out of a hand block situation. Think about Forest Sealstone allows you to actually get any card you want. So if you have that equipped, it's not gonna be impactful to Xerosic. There's Trekking Shoes. If you top deck that, you instantly have access to 2 more cards that you can dig. Luminion V, which can get any supporter you want, like a Professor's Research. Pokestop, allowing you, if this is in play and you use the hand block, it's gonna be less impactful, as people can Pokestop, find stuff like Pokegear, Nazball, etc. Gift Energy also not around, so if you're ever like hand locking the opponent and then you knock something out and it has a Gift Energy, it's not gonna work. So also Rotom V, you might think, oh, I have 0 cards in hand, and then you use Insta Charge the following turn. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting because you already draw a card, so that means you always will have 1 spare card after the opponent uses the attack and you Rotom back up. So Regidrago VSTAR allowing you to get like cards from the discard pile, allows you to get out of this situation. Refinement Curlia, Radiant Greninja, a really important one to be be honest, as well as Bibarel. Bibarel is a very important card, allowing you to draw cards. I know there's going to be way more drawing cards. Definitely if we take a look at what else is going to be in this new set, I'm mainly talking about cards that allow you to draw cards, and that's going to be Iono's Kilowatt Troll. You discard a lightning energy from this Pokemon, and then you draw cards until you have 6, so it's not going to be impactful against a deck like that. Also, decks that just play from the board will have an easy time, and in this situation, there's an Xerosic coming out in this set as well, which is an insta counter to hand locking, because you can hand lock the opponent to 0 cards, but if the opponent has an army of Zoroarks, it doesn't actually matter. So I don't personally feel that it's going to be ruining the game, but I'm just going to talk about the fact that with all these powerful draw cards that were literally in a lot of decks, Rotom V, Radiant Greninja, Pokestop, Tracking Shoes, Luminion, Forest Seal, so all those cards will actually rotate. And with the rotation, if you're not playing Xerosic or that Kilowatt Troll, it's going to be pretty hard to get out of that hand lock. So I think Control will be in a very okay-ish position, depending on how well Xerosic EX actually is, which I personally believe is a very great card. And also, there might be situations where you cannot deal with the Pokemon ahead of you. That could mean that if you're up against something that only requires 1 energy and it has an energy, even if you have an army of Crushing Hammers, they can still keep on attacking. So there's gonna be maybe ways you can trap. Maybe you go with Counter Catcher, Boss's Orders, Prime Catcher, trapping something in the active and then hand locking, so they're trapped, so you have more time to set your own field up. Maybe I see a world where Banette is gonna be able to do that. Have the opponent in a hand lock, and then you try and set something difficult up. Maybe a deck that requires multiple turns to just set up itself. But on the other hand, I just know that if I would be playing a hand lock deck like Banette, that the opponent most likely will just top deck Professor's Research. That's just me. I'm not the only one. Like even now, I own somebody, and out of nowhere they just top deck Research. It happens all the time. Note to self that we also have Pheasantipede in the format. So even if you hand lock, it's gonna have to be a pure control archetype, meaning you trap opponents, you hand lock opponents, you try to do other stuff. It's a really important question. Is it going to be good enough? Because as soon as you knock something out, the opponent has access to Pheasantipede. If you're not going for the knockout strategy and just trying to mill the opponent, you no longer have Silene to get back your Crushing Hammers. You no longer have Misfortune Sisters to deal with the item cards that are in the opponent's deck. So we're going to need some more control cards in order for this Banette to actually break the game. We did see before that in the Pokemon TCG, historically, hand lock situations like this do sometimes compared with bans. Sometimes the Pokemon Company actually bans cards that are unhealthy for the game. Take a look at this situation. Reset Stamp actually allows your opponent shuffles their hand into their deck and then draws cards for their each remaining prize card. So that could be helping if you're at a low amount of prize. If the opponent has a low amount of prizes, you reset Stamp, and then you were able to use the Dusknoir and Trevenant to also put the opponent at a low hand size, which was really crazy and allows some Pokemon cards to get banned. The official Pokemon ban list is actually kind of crazy. Cards like Delinquent, cards like Getsus, Haxmaniac, Jesse and James, stuff like, for example, Red Card, Reset Stamp, all those cards are actually banned in the expanded play. Yeah, what is expanded play? Probably a video for later for people that are new to the channel, but currently we're going to be focusing on standard, as the Pokemon TCG, actually TPCI, does not actually give us expanded for tournaments. So Delinquent combos. Delinquent, actually, if you discard a stadium and play, your opponent discards 3 cards from their hand. This was played in combination with Red Card. Your opponent shuffles their hand and enter the deck, and then they draw 4 cards. I've seen more toxic cards like this before, like the Marshadow Let Loose from Shining Legends was also one of those cards that was considered toxic for the game, allows you to actually not play the game. So at that process, Delinquent and Red Card were banned, stuff like Reset Stamp was banned, stuff like the Milotic, which helped you attack on the second turn with Night Watch, was banned. So lots of cards like these have been historically banned. So I'm very curious to see if Pokemon will either ban Xerosic or if they will ban Banette. But in my opinion, they most likely will do nothing, because I think Banette is not strong enough in the format where Xerosic EX is also an archetype, and also we have options. If you're afraid of stuff like this, you can also I know we're losing Bibarel, but there's other draw cards in the format still. I think about Reverum, which allows you to discard an energy and then draw until you have 6 cards in hand. I know you need to have energies, but if you're like playing like specific decks, like 11 energies or something, that could be an easier way to get out of this cursed speech attack from the Banette. And yeah, I'm just not too big of a believer, but yeah, Pokemon actually tests out cards before they get released, definitely in Japan. So I don't think this will be too toxic, but yeah, you would need to have a backup plan, right? Because the Banette will put the opponent to low hand size. You can trap opponents with counter catcher, maybe crushing hammers, but there's gonna be way more than that. Maybe you set yourself up, or maybe you just build up powerful Pokemon attacks that just can attack really quickly, and then you swoop the opponent's field because they're out of resources, or just they're in top deck mode and they cannot do anything about it. On the other hand, we still have Pidgeot EX in the format, which can get yourself any card that you want. Pidgeot EX is being played in Charizard, it's being played in Dragapult, and a lot of Stage 2 decks it is being played in. So that does mean that with Pidgeot EX in play, this does nothing. So I know Bidoof is still around, so you can prevent Pidgeot EX from coming into play, but if they play Pidgeotto and come with TM Evolution, then it actually is discarded once again, that strategy. So for me personally, I don't have a problem with this strategy because it's not currently leading up to anything, but if there's a broken card out there that will help control even further, I know we already have great cards, but at one point this might be problematic. So I want to hear your opinion down below. How do you feel about Banette and Xerosic? Will it break the game, or are you thinking that people are over-exaggerating over at the social media? For me personally, I don't have an issue with this combo. We've seen stuff like this before. I was in a format, by the way, where Orangaroo and Research Management was around with the Chip Ice X combo, and you could do nothing. You're locked completely. So and I even was able to win a lot of tournaments against those kind of decks. So I don't have any issues with this. If it's even becoming really popular, there will be ways to attack against this. So yeah, let me know your opinion down below. Do you think it's toxic for the game? I personally don't feel so, but let's get a discussion started and let's see what the people think here. So also, if you enjoyed the video, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. It is super effective as usual. I'm always super grateful. And of course, subscribe if you're new to the channel so you can stay up to date with more competitive Pokemon TCG videos. Have yourself a good one. See ya soon.